Hi all, it's Palest, but you guys can call me Harry. I don't know what gameplay is going to be over the back of this, but this commentary won't really be about gameplay. It's a commentary on a topic that has been requested greatly by you guys, you subscribers, and I've finally taken the time to sit down and have a think about exactly what my thoughts are on this topic. And the topic is love. So quite a controversial topic and something that I think is relevant to all of us, or certainly will be relevant to all of us if we wish to reproduce. But let's not start a reproduction. Love starts a long way down the line from that. And in my kind of thinking about love, I've kind of identified two sort of areas or two assets that really comprise love. The first one is care for, and the second one is care about. So, care for. Care for is the meeting of needs from your basic human requirements, such as shopping for one another or helping out when your partner is ill, to more advanced human desires that we kind of pick up as all these basic requirements are fulfilled, desires such as sexual desires. That's encompassed by care for. To care for is also to kind of give up something of yourself so that you can preserve your partner. It's to activate a kind of sacrifice that results in a preservation of your love and of your partner. And I think that's one key component of any relationship, and something that we find present in requited love, but not necessarily unrequited love. And if you're not aware what those terms mean, requited love is love that's kind of reciprocated. So you love someone and someone loves you back equally. But unrequited love, therefore, is where one person loves another, but the love is not reciprocated quite the same. So the second facet that I want to talk about is care about. So there's care for and care about. To care about is to be interested in. It's taking an active interest in your partner's activities, and it's the strongest mark, I think, of attraction. Sort of the longing to know about your partner's life, almost as if it is your own. In fact, longing to know the details about your partner's life as much as you're interested to find out what tomorrow holds for you, for your own sort of life. It's almost sort of wanting to live vicariously through your partner's eyes. And I think the mark of a long and a lasting and a fruitful relationship is kind of a combination of these two assets: care for, the meeting of needs, and care about, the being interested in. For me, love always begins with the care about, the interest in someone, the interest about someone's life. And I'm talking about love here, notably, not sort of lust or friendship, which I'll talk about later. But care about, interest in, inevitably leads to wanting to care for, wanting something physical. As we fulfill these basic desires, we desire something further. That's the nature of the human, sort of always greedy, always wanting more. So as we kind of situate ourselves in this position of caring about, we kind of progress to care for someone, to want to care for someone and want to be cared for in return. And sort of therein lies the pain of unrequited love, unreciprocated love, love not returned. When you've sort of prepared yourself absolutely by caring about her to care for her, but then you're not allowed to care for her because the love isn't reciprocated. The person who you love won't allow you to care for them. And that's a lot of the pain in unrequited love, because you're so prepared to care for someone, but you just can't, you're not allowed to. So care for is really the site of requisition. It's the site of sort of reciprocation. When somebody cares for you, and you care for that person back, then you know that there is some sort of mutual bond. But care about, in my opinion, so interest in your partner from both ends, so from you and your partner, must precede care for, must come before care for if we search for love. So what I'm saying there is you've always got to care about before you care for, or before you long to care for, if you're looking for love. So what happens if you care for, if you kind of want these sexual desires before you care about, so before you're interested in someone? Well, obviously that's the mark of lust, wanting to have some sort of sexual relationship with someone before you have any interest in that person's life. That is definitely lust. It's sort of a need to feel and to have satisfied your physical emptiness without taking any personal interest in the lover. On the other hand, to care about without caring for, so to take an interest in without sort of wanting a sexual relationship, is far more symptomatic of a friendship. That's the sort of thing we find every day between ourselves and our friends. And it follows that if the amount that you care for someone and the amount that you care about someone are unbalanced, the situation is either one of lust or of friendship. And if neither care for exists or care about exists, then love isn't involved at all. So those have been my brief musings about love, and I hope that hasn't been too confusing. Of course, care for and care about, quite related terms, and I think there is some overlap. And no doubt love is a very difficult topic to actually formulate some sort of philosophy on, because it's so personal and because it's so motivated. But I guess the big question is, how do you become successful in it? How do you harness these facets, the care about and the care for, such that they result in sort of a lasting and a fruitful love? Well, bottom line is, I don't know. I've had relationships in the past, and I'm sure, well, some of you guys sort of asked for this kind of history, and I don't want to give it in too much depth, but I have had relationships in the past, and none has ever worked out perfectly. The longest one I had was sort of 9 months, and variously they've lasted sort of a few months, invariably past a few weeks. So that's something of a good sign. But how do you make something lasting? Well, that's difficult. In fact, personally, it seems that I've taken kind of a regressive step. I've taken a step in the wrong direction, and now, I don't know, I find it quite hard to land myself in a relationship at all. I've been thinking about this a lot recently, and it's one of those things that kind of keeps you up at night and keeps you thinking, occupying just your mind at all times, and really hinders what you're doing in life. And I think perhaps I can account this kind of this longing for, this pining for that I've had recently to maybe my lack of creativity in videos. But either way, one conclusion I've come to when faced by this situation where I cannot move, where I don't seem to be able to do anything about how I feel, is activism. In that you've got to do something. Now that might sound obvious, but it's very easy just to sit and kind of wallow in what's wrong and what's not there for you, i.e. this care for not being there for you. But I think if you're in a situation, as I find myself, where you care about someone greatly, and you want to be in that situation where she cares for you and you care for her, then the decision you have to make is between unveiling the mystery in your heart, i.e. absolutely telling her exactly how you feel, leaving it to a matter of frequency, leaving it to a matter of does she reciprocate, versus, on the other half of the decision, trying to situate yourself in a position where your care about is restrained enough that you don't want to care for, i.e. you care about her but only as much as friends would, and doesn't really overlap too far with care for. And I think you've either got to put yourself in that position where you only want friendship and you accept that friendship is enough, or you've got to do something and be active and admit your feelings. I think those are the only two options you have when you're in a situation where your feelings, you think, aren't reciprocated, and you haven't really told the person who you think you love that you love him or her. But those are my thoughts. Thanks a lot for listening, guys, and I'll see you later.